Hello and welcome to SME TV. I'm your host, Angela Vithulkis. Today we get to introduce a world-first rapid-fire auction site built for guaranteed brand exposure. Intrigued? Curious? Well, stay watching this episode of SME TV. Please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel to support us and all SMEs. We encourage you to comment. Tell us what you think and share SME TV. Our guest today is Kazoik. It's a 5-minute auction that happens only at specific times and dates where the highest bid wins. No reserves, no minimums, no auto bids, no fuss. To tell us all about it is one of the men behind Kazoik, Brett Levy. Welcome, Brett.
Hi, Angela. Thanks for having me.
Kazoik. Now, Kazoik is, well, that's the first reaction, right? Bless you. A little bit of the background that I read with the press release was that it was a young child that came up with the name Kazoik, thinking that they were reading kiosk.
Correct. And
kiosk being a place that you buy things from.
Correct.
So
sweet things, nice sweet lollies.
Nice sweet things, yes, or fatty things too.
Yeah.
But so she'd said to get something from the Kazoik, and her father said, "What is that?" And from there, Kazoik.
That's how it became.
Was born.
Yep.
This isn't your typical auction site, though.
No, not at all.
So I'm going to get you to explain it in as simple terms as possible. Sure. But it comes from the perspective of both the brands, the consumers, the products, and services. You can auction services as
Correct.
well.
I think the most important thing there is that although the consumers will have a good time, this was built 100% about brands and businesses. Yes. And when we go through it, I'll explain a bit more where the thinking comes from.
So building a platform that comes from the perspective of a brand in order to be able to pitch to consumers and not be beholden to either influencers out there or of one kind or another, and for even the playing field for SMEs so they can get something affordable that works for them with a high level of exposure.
Yes.
So if we look at it from that perspective, why was this platform built from the perspective of the brand and the consumer and typically the SME level?
Yep.
Not that we're precluding big brands.
No, but it does. It definitely will lend itself to SME. So just to pick up on that. So the first thing is, as you know from our previous experiences, I get sent a lot of stuff to review on my podcast. And so I know that brands are always happy to give product away, or any company for that matter, services or products. So that was the first thing that I was thinking about when we put Kazoik together. And
there's no guarantee that you will use that product or that you'll review that product.
Correct. As an influencer, there's no guarantee.
That's right. You just take it.
Correct. And see what happens. And I mean, there's been a few that I haven't reviewed for various reasons. The second reason is that because of COVID, which is obviously situational, but we don't know how long it's going to be around for, brands can't get their place in the sun at the moment. No one can show their new offerings. There's a lot of small business out there that are inventing things. They got nowhere to show it. So the only place we can go is online, and online's becoming busy. You know, if you now look online, the only people that are actually making money is Facebook and Google, because there's just thousands of adverts.
Because we're all there.
Well, we're all there.
There's nowhere else to go.
And of course, we already don't have an attention span as it is. So now you've just got this plethora of information and brands, and everyone's trying to get your attention. So taking those two things, I said, what happens if I could guarantee a company 5 minutes of undivided attention? And that was, I try to then reverse engineer from there. And that's exactly what Kazoik does. We can guarantee 5 minutes of undivided attention, and from the consumer's point of view, fun as well.
So how do you get the audience? How can you tell the person that's come to you and said, you know, I've just invented something new, or I've got a new iteration of my product, or I have a great service that I want to offer? So let's say I've invented a baseball.
Okay.
I come to you, or I come to Kazoik, and I say, right, what are you going to give me for 5 minutes?
Okay. So first of all, I think the most important thing is that for anyone that participates in Kazoik, it's free. Okay. Now I know I probably have to explain that.
Free for?
It's free for the company. So any of the companies that come on board.
So I've invented a new baseball?
You've invented your baseball. It costs you the baseball.
Yep.
And the delivery of the baseball to the person that's going to win the bid.
Whoever bids.
That's it. You're not paying platform fees. You're not paying for loading fees and all the other wonderful fees that we have enough. So definitely with the small and medium companies in mind that don't have pockets of cash lying around to buy.
No massive budgets.
So your baseball gets put out into the Kazoik platform. That it doesn't cost you anything else. The second option, which is where the traction comes into it, is that we know that every single person, and that's why we did the auction engine, every person that clicks the bid button has an intent. They're interested. The first few people that bid are just deal seekers. They're looking for a good deal, okay? So we can remove them.
Because I know that my baseball is worth $1,000.
Well, we put that price on.
Yeah.
So we actually advertise the recommended retail
The
price.
real price of it, yeah.
Yep.
The everyday price.
Correct. So in your first bids will just be people looking for a good deal, and we can ignore them. But when the auction starts to move, and that's why the 5 minutes comes into it, it's that whole play and that, I don't want to miss out. The people that carry on clicking are the people that are actually your potential customers. They still want a good deal. Everyone wants a good deal. You want a good deal, I want a good deal. So they're still looking to get a good deal, and they probably still have an amount in mind that they want to spend. But all those people that don't win the auction, the brand then has an opportunity to give them a voucher or say, hey,
okay,
so sorry you didn't win, Angela. Here's $20 off in the next hour, next day, week, month, whatever you want. So we can now deliver those to all those people that participated in the auction.
genuine hot leads.
Hot leads. And then the final part, and I hope Google doesn't watch this, but the problem with remarketing is you spend money to find people to come to your website. If you lose them, you have to spend 3 times more money to bring them back again. We know who these people are. When they come to our site, we have a cookie policy. Yep. So we drop a cookie on them. We encourage them to sign in with Facebook, so we know where their social pages are. And we can then offer all those companies advertising directly to those people in a remarketing way.
So there's the potential to offer a company leads because we know that their intent because they've clicked.
Correct.
Okay. If you're and the unusual thing is that you can also put your services, auction your services online on this platform as well. What's different about Kazoik to some other potential competitors where you can also bid?
Okay, so generally with any of the other bidding or auction sites out there, they go for quite a long period of time. I'm going to use eBay as an example.
Well, you hang out till you get the right, what you think is the right bid.
It also doesn't necessarily end. So even on eBay, for example, they make it 4 days.
Yes.
But if there's a going once, going twice scenario and someone else outbids, it resets the clock.
Oh, okay.
We don't have that. When 5 minutes ends, it ends. So if you want the product, bid for it. And it's actually quite fun watching the engine. When it gets down to the dying seconds, people just throw random numbers. It was going up in $1 increments, then all of a sudden it's $20 because that person was prepared to pay X. Now that's the research side. For any new company or any small company that can't afford research, we can put a product out there and see what people are prepared to pay for it. So we can, and again, we know that you have to factor in the fact that they're looking for a good deal.
But still, it's good.
But you could see.
It's reliable research to some degree. It's as good a reason as any.
Especially if you're clearing products.
Yep.
So now you know what your sales price should be. If it's 50% below or 40% below, we can see that as well.
And I'm still intrigued by the ability that you can auction services. I'm still intrigued by that because products is normal.
I'll explain that for you. So we actually have a hotel that's come on board.
Right.
The tourism industry has been battered by COVID, as we all know, okay? So there are a lot of hotel rooms that are sitting empty now. Unlike a product that you can put on the shelf and then bring it back out the next day. If no one stays in your room tonight, you can't bank that room, it's gone. Yesterday's gone. Yeah. So what this particular group has done is they've put a package together. It's a weekend package. It's coming up, I think, in the next 3 weeks. You'll be able to bid for it. And the idea is that they don't care about the fact that they're going to give away a room that's probably worth $400 or $500, that weekend package, for $80 or $100. It's all the other people that are actually interested in going away. And of course, they're friends. If I'm going away, I can say to my friends, hey, well, here's a voucher. Yeah. Take 50% off or 30%, whatever it is. And they've also been clever and they said, well, this voucher is valid for 18 months. So hopefully we're all over this current period. You can use it whenever you want. It's a service.
Timeframes are going to be really important, for auctioning services, depending on what they are. I mean, it'd be great if it was, be able to use it right now, but timeframes are going to, we've had that experience with travel agents and people that had already booked holidays and whether they were going to get refunds. That's been a real issue for most people. So timeframes is important.
The other one I want to quickly jump in, there's a hairdresser.
Yep.
So, okay.
You're looking at me when you say that, right?
Yeah, but I don't colour my hair, I don't style my hair, but I know a lot of people do, and I know that's an expensive exercise.
It can be,
It can be. So a hairdresser to give away a service on Kazoik, one, gets them a potential new customer that they never had before. So the cost per acquisition was just the time. If they do a good job, they get a repeat customer.
They will get loyalty.
And all their friends. So this lends itself perfectly to services.
Word of mouth. And that's another example of a service, not a product. Or it can be both if you end up getting
if you get
to
colour
buy
in
it.
lots of products.
So I'm quoting directly from the press release. The platform has been built to guarantee brands no less than 5 minutes of undivided and focused attention from potential consumers and fans. Each week, a product or service is made available for fans and loyal followers to bid on.
Yes.
The principle here is win-win. Customers get good deals on products and brands get access to data and further engagement opportunities. So one opportunity, each week a product or service is made available.
Five. There's 5-minute auctions in a 1 hour space.
Right.
So just to explain the 5 minutes, the auction's on for 5 minutes. So you're focused,
So
you're reading about it, you get the description of the product, the pictures are there, but there's a 5-minute off reset between the first auction and the second auction where you can research the product.
So I get 5 minutes for my baseball, because we've used that as an example.
Yep.
Then there's a 5-minute break.
Correct.
And the next product
auction starts.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you perceive that brands will do more than one auction for their products?
We already have other brands. We have brands that are
Doing
in
either
fact, if brands
repeat
ask me
or
if they can
offering-
have all 5.
Right.
And they want to then do it as a marketing exercise as well.
I would be very curious to that, because if you've ever been attended charity auctions or anything else like that, you know there's a big difference between the first and the last item. You know, sometimes the first item goes really cheap and the last one is not as good as the first one, and it goes for more expensive. Fear of missing out.
Correct.
Right? So fear of missing
and that's
out.
what we've played on. I just want to pick up on the charity auction. So we've built different versions.
Did you like the way I just slid that in?
I love the way you slid that in. So we have built the platform that will support that type of environment. So if there's any company that does work in the charity or non-for-profit, I'm more than happy to make the engine available to them, no charge, where they can then use it to raise funds in a fun way. For their products.
Given that most of these charities tend to raise their bulk money from one big event a year, which they can't have, and they don't know when they can plan it, again, is an issue.
It's there.
So they have their own databases, which they can draw attention to.
That's right. They can bring it, and we'll run the engine for them at absolutely no cost to them at all.
Well, as you say, you don't have to go and set it up yourself. It's already there for you.
It's all built.
So really, there is no close competitor to Kazoik.
Look, I don't want to be arrogant and say there's no competitor. There's lots of similar. There's things where auction prices go down.
And we've mentioned eBay.
There's other little platforms like Top Hatter where they sell products, but they don't use the timing. They play on the fear that it's only 2 minutes. But as I said, if you bid, then it resets. If I bid, then it resets. So it can actually go on forever and ever.
It can be. Well, it's just like
and it's also the product.
I'm wondering
offering.
if they're going to ever sell a house on Kazoik.
So my goal ultimately is to sell the house.
I'm waiting. Like as soon as I read about it, I went, oh yeah, a house or a car. I mean, how do you come to terms with?
So let's take the car as an example.
Yeah.
Okay, take an entry-level car of $15,000. That's the retail price. It probably costs Kia, I'm going to use Kia as an example, $8,000 for that car. If I brought 500,000 people to the auction and gave them 5 minutes of undivided attention for $8,000, they cannot buy that anywhere online, on TV, on radio.
But how are you going to get 500,000 people there?
Well, that's what we're doing. We're building the database. Hopefully a show like this will bring some more people to next week's auction.
So,
and we're buying media every week as well, bringing more eyeballs through.
So you face the same challenge as any other business?
I do, except for what we're doing is we're bidding against intent. So I know that next week there's, let's say, for example, Lego. I start looking at all the search that's going on Lego and buying against targeted Lego with a very sneaky little call to action like, why pay full price? Come check it out. And there's the timer. So yes, that is one of my changes.
So is there Lego coming up?
There was actually Lego last week. It went for, I think it was a $230 set. It went for $60-something.
See, it's a great way to shop for Christmas presents.
And birthday presents.
Yeah, if you need them. Okay, so you can earn Kazoiks.
You can earn Kazoiks.
So
I've always wanted my own currency. I have my own currency now.
And you've gone, to great lengths to do this. You were trying to have your own fiefdom, your own country. Now you want your own currency.
I've just shuffled down.
How do you earn a Kazoik?
So basically, just by registering, we'll give you a Kazoik.
Right.
We're going to be building your typical, share this with your friends. They get 5 Kazoiks, you get 5 Kazoiks. Unlike other reward programs, one Kazoik is $1 Australian equivalent on the site.
So if I have one Kazoik, how do I redeem that?
So when you move,
if I'm a successful bidder?
So you've won your auction. We have put a limit that you can only spend 10 at a time. So let's say the bid was $50. When you move into your checkout, it'll ask you if you'd like to redeem 10 Kazoiks, which you can, and then you'll only be charged 40. So it redeems straight in the checkout. It knows that you have the credits. They link to your account.
Right. So that's the incentive. You earn Kazoiks by signing up to participate.
Referring. I said at the moment, I'm a small business myself. We're busy building the whole time, but we're busy building that social plugin that if you share on your social network, you'll get a Kazoik, they'll get a Kazoik, or 5 Kazoiks. I don't know what the final agreement was.
So while we have a huge focus on SMEs, and most SMEs in regards to an auction would be a product of this value, but so many of our SMEs are professional services. They could potentially auction off a professional service.
Definitely.
And we've discussed the hairdresser, but you could somehow auction off...
business coach, for example.
Yep.
I need a business coach. I mean, I really do. My head's all over the place, and I'm always running all over the place.
Well, with 4 hours worth of sleep, I'm not surprised.
On the black rings. But if you took a business coach, which can be thousands of dollars, right? If they put their services up and they get a client that comes aboard, and let's say I win the auction, I'd bid for that, knowing that it's a $5,000 investment that I could pick up for $800 or $1,000.
Or online training. Modules, packages.
Correct.
Yep. You said you were studying cybersecurity.
I'm doing mine online.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Because they are very much trying to work out where they fit in this new world, since it's a busy digital world. Now, this is ideal for product launches.
Definitely.
It's ideal for research perspectives and to find out, what's the real value of my product or my service? What are people prepared to pay? Getting paid what you're worth is a huge issue for SMEs. So from a perspective of a product launch, I've just invented the new baseball. I want to see how it goes, get some feedback, reach some new people. It's an interesting perspective and much cheaper to do a product launch. Yeah. It's only the cost of the product.
Someone actually called me out on the other day, said, yes, it's still the cost of the product and the postage. And I'm like, yes, it is. But if you go back to the reason I put Kazoik together, brands or companies are sending products out all the time.
Yeah.
That is a cost. It always has been a cost. But it doesn't sit anywhere in the balance sheet. No one goes, oh, we sent a pair of sunnies to Brett. No. It just was part of the bigger marketing expense. And postage nowadays is $7-8. So it really is free. I mean, I can go, okay, it costs you the product plus the postage. But if it's a digital service,
but the unit price of cost compared to how much it would cost to buy exposure somewhere else, it's contained.
Well, I'll use an example.
You know how much it's going to cost you,
that does jewelry, bespoke jewelry. Her market is quite niched, so she has a small base because jewelry's, it's a preference. What it looks like, how it looks.
It's very personal.
It's very personal. So for her to give away a product that's worth, let's say, $400, even if it only sells for $80, she's probably covered her costs because it's a material cost. And if one of the friends of the recipient sees that necklace or the ring or whatever it is that she's giving away, and they go, wow, that's nice. And she goes, well, go buy it here. She gets her money back. I don't know if you were going to talk about the other reason for the small businesses on the e-commerce side of things.
Yes, absolutely, because that's the whole purpose of the platform, is that you've already done all the work.
Correct.
The back end's all there. There's no need to reinvent the wheel, which they can't do anyway. That's not their core business. Their core business is the product or their service that they make or bake.
Yeah, make or bake. I like that.
Bake. But so the e-commerce platform behind this.
That was the jewelry so that was a nice example, is that she doesn't have an e-commerce platform. Now, I don't know if you've priced out the cost to build one, okay? It's not cheap.
Even to do it just a little bit is very expensive.
It's not cheap. So what I've done with Kazoik...
And there's cybersecurity issues over it.
There is. And I've tried to, in fact, just on that note, I host the site here with Digital Pacific. So it's in Australia with Australian support. We don't get phoning all over the world. Yeah. I've even put a content distribution network in front to handle the load balancing and also buffer some of the attacks that could come through. So I'm trying the best I can there. But the idea behind it was that if you participate on a Kazoik, so one of the auctions that we have, you are then welcome, again, no charge, that we will give you your own sales platform within the Kazoik. So under previous Kazoiks, you could put the necklace or the sunnies or the business service that we're talking about. People can click through it there. They're obviously going to pay full price. We would encourage the companies to still discount it to make it worthwhile for the community that's coming through. But you don't have to pay to build an e-commerce engine.
Is that similar to how eBay has different stores?
Yeah. Same type of thing. So we'll put your product up.
Yeah, offering that.
However you want to do it. Now, the jewelry lady has said that she would prefer that when people click and go, that they actually move across and deal with her directly. Cool.
That's also
that
possible.
Yep. It's possible. So we've built that whole engine there as well to say, not only was it 5 minutes, but you have the option to actually live on and carry on and still do business because people are going to keep coming back to the site.
Well, that's the whole intent, right?
That's the intent.
Playing spin
Well,
on
we
words.
are seeing repeat. Out of the 3 weeks we've done now, 85% return traffic. So they're coming back.
Well, as you make note, it's the whole point is to create real fans without having to pay influencers or buy brand love. Yeah. So it's really up to the individual or the company. You know, if they've got a great product or if they've got a great service and they know what they're doing, they stand a better chance of being on Kazoik and seeing a good return on their investment and spreading the word. And that organic growth that SMEs are notorious for doing well because of their genuine and authentic engagement. That organic growth is what we all want to look for and leverage. Correct. So it's an ideal space to be able to do that.
100%.
Well, Brett, it's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Good luck with Kazoik.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on the show.
Not at all.
It's always nice to catch up, even if we have to do it in the formal environment of a show with cameras.
And we have done it.
Documenting, and we have done it.
To our viewers and watchers, please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel to support us and all SMEs, where you'll find more great interviews, and please share, like and comment. A huge thank you to the SME Association for making SME TV and podcast channel possible, and to Piedmont Studio for the great production. To reach us with any content ideas, comments or stories that are good for your business community, you can email us, news@smea.org.au, and we're on all the socials too. Thank you. Thank you very much, Brett.
Thank you.